So this was 2018, directed by Julia Hart, and it has an amazing cast. I like this name, Guga Mbatha-Raw. She was in Black Mirror, Loki TV series, and then one of my favorites is Lorraine Toussaint. She's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
and she worked in the Mantis TV series
I was going to say,
years ago.
there's another connection.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
There's another connection that goes directly. We're on 2 points here, right?
Right.
I was kind of blown away about that, because in both cases, I was the one that pointed out the one with Tony, the last one we were talking about, but this one Paula pointed out.
Ah, well, there you go.
Because, like I say, she has a way. She knows everybody.
She knows. Well, yeah.
She knows. She can look. She can. I mean, literally, if an actor comes on screen for 10 minutes and then goes off screen and puts a set of earrings on and comes back on screen, I won't recognize them. Not a bit. Well, not at all.
I don't know if you should be directing or anything.
But Paula, on the other hand, well, the thing is I'm all about process. I'm all about what the setup of shots are, and
so you're not looking at the actors, you're just looking at what's behind them and around them.
Well, not
what they're holding.
Not even that, but even how the camera's moving, how the lights are, and the whole thing. I mean, that's my purview. As soon as it gets down to actors, I'm like oddly. I have opinions, but for the most part, I need to be in the middle of a shot in order for that opinion to come out right. So, but Paula's the one that pointed out that connection, because she likes to play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to Mick Strawn as her. So, yeah.
Well, it's usually 1 degree or 1 step.
It is a really easy game with me. It is. It is really easy.
Actually, if I ever direct a movie, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have my actors change their outfits constantly, or I'm going to change the actor. Just in the middle of the scene.
Hell out of me, right? Yeah.
In the middle of a scene, I'm going to change the actor, like in the middle of a sentence.
So I'll be able to say things like, "A cast of thousands," and for me, it would be
right. After years of hiding, a woman is forced to go on the run when her superhuman abilities are discovered. Years after her leaving her abandoned family, the only place she has left to hide is home. So anyway,
I just loved that this film wasn't. It wasn't overly about effects and everything. It was about being the outsider, right?
It had the independent movie feel.
It did.
And it reminded me of Man Who Fell from Earth a little bit, but
a little bit.
This girl had connections that were really strong with her family, and actually I saw this 2 or 3 years ago, and my opinion has not changed. I still think this is a really good movie, because it's all about the story, and it's done the right way, and the acting is brilliant, and the characters are, even though they're predictable and the plot is kind of predictable, it's still interesting. But
not only is it interesting, I mean, what he did with it and the connections that he makes into the town and all the rest of it, and also how
with the grandfather, I like how they worked that in there.
Exactly, and the whole angle of them being there for so long and stuff. I mean, usually if it's about an alien, the alien landed last week, right?
Right.
I like this one that this is something that has been in the family for going back, at least 150 years, right? And you don't know where it came from, right? And basically it's kind of a micro Marvel movie, right? Yeah.
But don't you feel the pacing, well, especially compared to a Marvel movie, but the pacing, this is very independent style and kind of dragged on a little bit, but I still think it's awesome. It's all about characters for me. I mean, that's why I like sci-fi, because people like Steven Spielberg are good at telling stories, and that's
Right.
what this was. It was a really good story, and it really didn't have a lot to do with superhuman
It's a very
powers.
creative. Yeah, but the thing is you got to understand that about science fiction is science fiction is never about science fiction. It's always about it's a human story, you know. And
Well, horror movies are human, right? People die.
yeah, but horror films
I know what you're saying.
horror films are almost the flip side of
I know
that.
there's no substance with the characters, is what you're trying to say, and I totally see what you're saying. Like every character in this has something that they really did a good character arcs with everybody. Like,
right. I mean, and with everybody, I mean, the bad guy wasn't. Even the bad people weren't just bad. You know,
right,
they were. You know, they were. It was misguided, right? And the thing that you're sitting here going, oh,
and they went through a transformation, which is what's great about stories.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the thing is the thing that I thought was really interesting is that the powers of any one given person in it are hardly even defined. You know, they're only hinted at anywhere along the line, right?
And they even hint that the mom might have more powers than anybody else.
More than anybody else, you know, and you don't know where it came from. You don't know the direction that it goes, and there's
always something missing. I feel like they should have done more flashbacks of her childhood because they only had like a couple.
Right. I agree with that. I agree that it could have even had a flashback that went way back
to the mom's childhood, even
to the mom's childhood. I thought that would have been really cool. But the thing is, I have to say, is they did stay linear enough. I mean, as much as I would like flashbacks like that and so forth, they did a really good job of keeping you in the present and letting the past just be the guide for the present without.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to become Family Guy and have a flashback every 10 seconds.
Right. Yeah. We didn't need the fighting chicken at all.
No. Well, yeah, I think it's actually what I like about this is it's kind of a special superhero movie. It's different because you don't really know how she's going to save the planet, but I think she is, obviously. I mean, you kind of have a hint that she's going to do something.
You know, and the thing is that's where it is truly a science fiction film is that enough of the superpowers and enough of the things that we don't understand are hinted at so that we know the weight of that, and the story continues anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you notice the connection between this and The Man Who Fell from Earth?
Oh, yeah. Hello.
We're going to do a Waterworld next. No, I'm just kidding. We're doing a water theme this month. No, I just it's funny that you picked this one and I picked the other one, and they both had to do with water shortages.
Yeah, it was, and even in the depth of the water shortages, it also is background to what's going on. You know, I love that you have two things that are set up at the beginning. You have one big thing that's set up, you know, the water shortage, and then you're bit by bit led into this whole other world, right? And it's not until you get going that you understand that the two of these could be equal to each other, right?
Right, yeah. Well, you're literally driven into another world by Bill, who is creepy, and you know something's going to happen.
That's right, man. Never get picked up by a guy that's too friendly in a waste station, in a wasted gas station, right?
Especially in a two-tone station wagon.
Yeah, in a two-tone station. What do you think this is? Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh,
there's a man there.
If anybody's writing a screenplay, pay attention to the fast color the first 10 minutes, because so you have like a little explanation at the beginning, but then you have like this scene with this girl who has things on her wrist and you don't know where the hell they came from,
right?
So I like movies that start like that, because I hate movies that over explain stuff or start linearly, like, oh, let's
Right.
do this first, and
Oh,
then this next, and then this next.
yeah, it's funny.
And this was linear, but the way they edited it, you don't know what happened to
right,
her.
right, exactly. And I love it that it hinges on a couple of little things that help. There were little things that helped you decide what was going on, like that the girl that is working on the truck, right?
Yeah.
How much that tells about the whole story, and it's just these little pieces that you find out about it, right? I just love that. I mean, that
The little girl was amazing too, by the way.
The little girl was amazing. I mean, she's just so talented, right?
Actually, everybody in this was really good, I thought. But
oh, right, absolutely. And the guy who was the sheriff in town,
yeah, I've seen him a lot. I can't. David Strathorn.
Yeah, and he played it so well that you know, all of a sudden that he's playing for both. He's playing for, you know, the other side, and has been all the way along. And literally the reason that he's the sheriff is to watch over, right?
Right, yeah. And he did. He actually had the perfect. I think he was the perfect cast in the perfect role, is what I'm trying to say. Because I think he's really the perfect actor for the part.
He was whoever did the casting for it just absolutely nailed and to nail the little girl. If the little girl had not been as good as she was, it would have helped sink the film.
And she most recently, by the way, played Sasha Obama in a First Lady TV series.
Oh, can't you absolutely see that though?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. You know, and talk about the ability to act like you're brimming with confidence. You know, yeah, and they had such a great, her and her mother, who we didn't know was her mother.
Yeah, it was weird how they kind of worked that in there. I'm like,
yeah, they worked that in, and then you were like, oh yeah, now I totally see it, right? You know, and you're like, oh, okay, this is great. I have nothing bad to say about this film.
I think for me, the only thing negative for me was I felt like pacing was a little draggy, like a little slow. Like they could have.
Yeah, but the thing is, you just watched The Man Who Fell to Earth, right?
Actually, I watched this before I watched The Man Who Fell from Earth.
Well, if you'd done it the other way around, you would have thought nothing about.
I know. I would have been watching Fast Colors, like, slow down! I can't keep up.
Slow down! You move too fast. You would have been a Paul Simon song, yeah. Which
that song always confused me because he's singing pretty slow. Slow down.
Yeah. Slow down, move too fast.
Oh, see, look, they like our singing.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, here. Sorry.
We're watching it. There's a movie on behind me called COVID.
COVID. What? Oh, this is still, you're still on this one, right? Oh, boy, COVID boy in a COVID bubble.
I figure I'll have this in the background a few times, then I'll retire it for a while.
So the question is nowadays, after going through COVID, the question I have in looking at the film behind you, does the guy in the bubble have the disease, or is it everybody on the outside that has the disease? You tell me.
I think we all have a disease in some way.
Yes. And with that, I'm going to say that I enjoyed this film so much as a 3.9.
I was going to give it a 4, so
yeah.
Why did you stop at 3.9? Why did you knock off?
Well, because I said 4.1 and you didn't hear me right.
Oh. You said, 4.1, okay. Huh. That's weird that we said the same thing. We both said 4.1?
Who knew?
There's somebody listening right now going, what? Wait, what?
What? Wait, I don't get that. Wait, there's people listening? That wasn't in the agreement.
Me and you. And sometimes somebody else. I don't know who it is.
You come down and see me in Knoxville. What's up with that? I had a packed theater. And it was really a lot of fun. I literally strung the movie out until like just shy of midnight, and I think we started at 8:30.
Oh wow!
I felt really bad. I really did. I was like, oh geez, I didn't mean to do it. And everybody was like, no, keep going. because I was like, oh, we can, I'll just stop talking and we can just let the movie run. Oh, no, 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 no. So,
So when
and
you were
here's the
watching it,
thing.
then you paused it and said, "Hey, did you see
No,
that scene?"
what we were watching it, and then I would pause it, and then I would go over what's going to happen. And I would just
Okay.
explain it, because it's not like look, I said at the beginning, I said to the crowd, I said, okay, how would you like
So
me
in
to do
this scene, there's a tricycle, and it has a string attached to it from the bottom, and somebody was yanking on it, and the thing crumbled. Watch this. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Is that kind of how it went?
That's kind of how it went.
No, I've seen you break down these scenes already, probably.
But I asked at the beginning, I said, is there anybody here that hasn't seen this film a million times? And everybody raised their hands. I say, okay, in that case, we're going to do it this way. And then I would explain a segment of it, and then we would play that segment. And then and the thing is it just stretched it on out forever. And the thing is I kept asking, I said, do you want me to like,
why would they want you to stop? No, of course your stories are good.
And everybody else was there, and everybody else was still there at 12 o'clock.
I think you need to make this more Spalding Gray, kind of. Like, I think you need to be sitting on a stool, and you need to have people in the corner acting parts out. Like, you have a group of guys pulling on a wire, and they're ripping up the wall. Like, acting it out. Would that be kind of cool?
That would be hilarious. What would you call that as a one-man show, right?
The disaster. I don't know. No, I don't know. Professor Mick Strawn, PMS.
It sticks.
No, actually, I think that'd be really interesting. I mean, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and then the show. And I have to tell you, I didn't understand this, and I didn't know, but Darcy and let me see if I get this right. Bob, why can't I think of his name? Darcy, the male girl. See, if I put this in here, I'm going to say Darcy, the male girl. The Joe Bob Riggs show, right?
Right.
These guys do they show horror films, and they're hosts, the horror films, right? And here's the funny thing is I was not aware at all how popular these two people were, right? But we were there, and the line to get to just those two guys went out the building and back around the corner.
Wow. So if you want to see me, no waiting.
Well, that's kind of how I felt. I mean, but I had a lot of people come anyway. But but the really funny thing is I went up to Darcy. Darcy's back there, and they're just clicking them through like clockwork, right? And I kind of got right in between it. And I said, Darcy, it's Mick. How's it going? Right? And she goes like this. She goes, oh, Mick. Oh, Mick you and I know her. You and I both worked with her, right? We worked with her on Vengeance.
Oh, okay.
She was on Vengeance.
That's
right?
weird. Okay. Yeah.
So listen, see, now it's happening.
You said the name, and I didn't connect it. I didn't make the connection.
See, now you got to start connecting all the names. So I went up and I hugged her, and I have to tell you something. The look of, I could see over her shoulder. I could see the first 30 people there, and the look of all the guys was like. We don't get to hug her. We don't, I just, hey, and she goes in, she comes in for a hug, and just and we had a little conversation, and then said we would meet later, and then we didn't because I got to take off at the end of the day, which made me very happy. So I had a really good day though. I mean, really, it was the perfect con experience. It was.
Wow.
Yeah.